They thought she was just a struggling single mom. But by the end of the day, she made a $300 million deal vanish, and their laughter with it. She walked into the boardroom ready to make history, sealing the biggest deal of her career. But instead of respect, she was met with smirks, whispers, and laughter about her being a single mom. What those executives didn't realize was that by the end of the day, she'd be the one laughing, after making a move that cost them $300 million. The glass-walled boardroom shimmered with the city skyline behind it. Executives in crisp suits sat around a massive oak table, their voices buzzing with self-importance. At the head of the table sat Maya Carter, poised, calm, and dressed in an elegant navy dress. She had built her tech company from nothing, balancing late-night coding sessions with raising her young son alone. Now, her business was valued at hundreds of millions, and today's meeting was supposed to finalize the biggest partnership of her career, a $300 million deal. But the air in the room was colder than she expected. The moment Maya introduced herself, a few of the older men exchanged glances. One of them smirked. Another leaned toward his colleague and whispered something that made them both chuckle. She tried to ignore it, focusing on her presentation slides. The numbers spoke for themselves: skyrocketing profits, market dominance, cutting-edge technology. But it was clear that for some in that room, her achievements weren't what they saw first. Halfway through her pitch, one man interrupted. "Impressive numbers, Miss Carter, especially for someone in your situation." Maya paused. "My situation?" "You know," he said, leaning back casually, "single mom, young, no, let's say, corporate pedigree. It's quite the surprise you've gotten this far." The chuckles around the table grew louder. Another chimed in, "Must be exhausting, running a company and, making school lunches?" The laughter filled the room like a slow, deliberate insult. Maya's grip on her laser pointer tightened. Every instinct told her to defend herself, to fire back. But instead, she simply smiled. "Gentlemen," she said, her voice cool and steady, "I appreciate your candor. Let's move on." She finished her presentation without another word about the comments, but her mind was already made up. The moment the meeting ended, one of the executives stood to shake her hand. "We'll have the contract sent over by the afternoon," he said with a smug grin, as if the deal was already sealed. Maya smiled back, but it wasn't the smile they expected. That afternoon, instead of signing the contract, Maya made a call. Not to her assistant, not to her lawyer, but to the CEO of a rival firm. Within hours, she struck a deal with them instead. It was slightly smaller in dollar value, but with leaders who respected her, her work, and her journey. The $300 million agreement the boardroom men were counting on, gone. By evening, word had spread. The partners she walked away from were left scrambling to explain to their investors why a near-certain deal had collapsed in less than a day. The very next week, an industry publication ran a headline: "Tech visionary Maya Carter chooses integrity over $300 million contract." The article detailed not just her decision, but the comments made in that meeting. The story went viral, and the public reaction was swift. Messages of support flooded in from women, single parents, and entrepreneurs around the world. Meanwhile, the company she rejected faced backlash from their own employees. Diversity groups condemned the executive's behavior, and several shareholders demanded leadership changes. Maya didn't brag. She didn't gloat. She simply kept building her company, proving that respect was worth more than any check. Months later, her new partnership doubled her company's market value, and she was still the one in control. In the end, those men didn't just lose a deal. They lost the chance to work with one of the most brilliant minds in the industry. and all because they couldn't see past their own arrogance. Sometimes, walking away isn't a loss. It's the most powerful move you can make. They thought their jokes would humiliate her, but all they did was cost themselves the deal of a lifetime. She walked away with her dignity intact, her company stronger than ever, and a new partnership that doubled her success. In business, money matters, but respect is priceless. And she proved she wouldn't sell hers for any amount.